What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hail Mary. Sorry about Friday. I have a double ear infection, and my right ear is throbbing worse than Deshaun Watson after a massage. That's allegedly. But yeah, I was in so much pain, and it absolutely sucked. And I still can't hear out of it. So if I sound a little bit loud, it's because I don't know how loud I sound because I can't hear myself. But we are back. So, hello. We have a lot to talk about because obviously I wasn't here on Friday and a lot happened throughout the week. So, we got some stuff we're going to talk about. First, we're going to talk about the Little League World Series and their whole betting scandal that was going on with that. Trey Hendrickson is now being shopped around by the Cincinnati Bengals. The Big Ten wants to expand the playoffs to become a March Madness type event, which would be absolutely awesome. NBA 2K is now going to allow men and women to be on the court together. That created a bunch of buzz and memes, and we'll talk about that. Michigan got their penalty for the whole Connor Stallions cheating scandal. We're going to talk about that and why I believe Michigan got off scot-free pretty much. Hamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis had a fight in quotes at UFC 319. We're going to talk about that. And then finally, possibly the greatest athlete in the world right now, SCOTTIE Scheffler, does it yet again. So let's just kick it right off. And we're going to start it off talking about this Little League World Series betting scandal. So the Little League World Series internationally had to come out and condemn all betting on the Little League World Series, especially on offshore platforms such as Bovada and Bet Online, which had odds on child baseball, which, listen, if you're watching the Little League World Series and the first thing that comes to your mind is like, I think I can make money on Panama versus China, you need to call the number. Call the freaking number. You're telling me that you are that addicted to gambling that you have to bet on the Little League World Series. There were MLB games on at the same exact time that you could have bet on. You had to bet on 12-year-olds to make your money, to pay your rent. So, like, an example, Bet Online was providing lines for Little League World Series matchups. They weren't doing prop bets because that would be absolutely insane. If you had a specific prop bet on some little Chinese kid to get 3 strikeouts, that would be downright asinine, but at the same time, kind of funny. Again, if you are betting on the Little League World Series, call the freaking number. So the Little League had to come out and they said, we firmly believe that betting on Little League games in youth sports is unacceptable. And I fully agree with it. Why do you feel the need you have to bet on the Little League World Series? They said no one should be exploiting the success and failures of children playing the game they love for their own personal gain. The fact that I thought that I was getting trolled when I saw this, like, Bovada, Bet Online, why? Are you that desperate for people to come to your site that you had to add action on the Little League World Series? Also, who are the lines makers? Who actually sits there and goes, well, this team won by 30 in their Little League games, and this team won by 25 in their country, and then who makes these lines? It's insane. Who allows that? So yeah, like, in the United States, obviously, any reputable sportsbook, DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog Sportsbook, Fanatics, they would never do this because, one, it's illegal, and two, why? I don't want those type of people, or I guess they do want those type of people on their platform. They want people who are going to throw money at absolutely everything, but any reputable sportsbook would not accept this. So, yeah, any bet on underage sports can be considered child exploitation, especially in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, which is the home of the Little League World Series, they did legalize sports gambling, but not for children's games. So that's why only online, like offshore betting, is the only way to bet on the Little League World Series. If you are a sicko, if you are a weirdo, if you need locked up and thrown under the prison, you need help. You need to call the number immediately. You should probably tattoo the number on your forehead if you're betting on the Little League World Series. Because, again, imagine screaming at your TV because little Billy from Kansas City didn't get a hit, and now you hate a 12-year-old for the rest of your life because he cost you your rent. How freaking stupid can you be? Like, that's like an ESPN 8 The Ocho type thing, where we're going to start giving toddlers steroids and seeing how many blocks they could pick up on their biceps. Like, this shit is so freaking weird. And the memes were great. People were doing funny TikTok skits about it. But call the number. First of all, if you are one of these people listening right now and you bet on the Little League World Series, I don't want you as a fan of anything that I do. Or maybe I do, because you'll throw money at anything. So, actually, I lied. If you bet on the Little League World Series, I have an offer for you. So, I have this bottle here in my hands. I am going to bet you $100 if you can guess how many supplements are in this bottle. And if you get it right, you get $100. If you get it wrong, you give me $1,000. How about that? So that's what we're going to do, because you are a sicko if you bet on the Little League World Series. But the memes were great. I'll say that. All right, let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals, because they botched this entire Trey Hendrickson thing. They were first botching the entire Shamar Stewart thing, where they weren't getting him signed because of some wording in their contract, in his contract, stating that, like, if he got in trouble off the field, they were able to void his guaranteed money, but they knew the risks of taking him. Such a stupid thing. Whatever. Trey Hendrickson was the NFL sack leader last year, and he has been at the center of attention because the Bengals don't want to give him top dollar, where they could have given him upwards of $30 million per year. But then you had these guys like Jamar Chase and TJ Watt just sign contracts and reset the market. Listen, if you have a guy who was the NFL sack leader, he deserves money at that top bracket. They could have paid him $35 million a year, $33 million a year. But they had to hold off. They had to wait because for some reason they thought $15 million was enough for him. Absolutely not. And they botched this whole situation, and now they're losing their best player on defense. And this just means that if you have the 1-1 pick in fantasy football and you're not taking Jamar Chase, you're a freaking idiot, because they are going to be in 50 to 75 shootouts every single week because they have nobody to play on the defensive side of the ball. So all this happened back in March, and nothing was materializing. And Trey Hendrickson was posting on Instagram just that he was down in Florida and he wasn't showing up to the team. And the Bengals have completely botched this. The Bengals coach at D-line camp was a very expensive sideline consultant for him. And in July, they said they're not going to trade Trey Hendrickson because they want to try to get a deal together. And then days later, the NFL or the team said that they were taking calls from NFL teams. And we already know what's going to happen is he's going to go to a team like the Lions, like the Chiefs. Apparently the Browns are in contention for him, which if he goes to the Browns, that would be crazy. Him and Myles Garrett would be absolutely nuts. But Trey Hendrickson said he's here to help the guys in any way he can. The narrative kind of iron out as we continue to progress towards the season, which basically in translation, like, pay me. Just freaking pay me. Like, he wants to be here. He wants to help the team. Pay him what he's worth. And Trey Hendrickson has been doing more coaching on the sidelines because he's not doing a holdout. He's doing one of these new classic hold-ins where you go to practice and you don't practice because you don't accumulate the fines every day. So he has been doing more consulting for them than he's actually been practicing for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I guess the Bengals don't want either elite consulting from him or elite pass rushing because they are looking to trade him. Yeah, the Bengals are just dumb. The Bengals are stupid. They're going to end up trading him possibly to, well, for some reason I could see Jerry Jones trading for Trey Hendrickson and then giving him the money that Micah Parsons wants just so he can stick it in Micah Parsons' face, because for some reason Jerry Jones has this vendetta against Micah Parsons, and it would be very classic Jerry Jones to do that. And I think he will. I honestly think he will. But realistically, I don't see Cincinnati trading him in the division. I don't think the Browns make sense for the Bengals to trade him to, but who knows? The Bengals have been botching this the entire way, so maybe they'll do that. I could see the Lions, because the Lions have a ton of cap space. The other team that does make a ton of sense, though, is the Green Bay Packers. So I think if they trade him anywhere, it's going to be probably to the NFC, probably to the NFC North. I think it's either going to be the Lions or the Packers. We'll see how this progresses. The Bengals have just botched this entire situation. He was your best player all year. He is your best player on defense. You botched this entire situation. You are now losing pretty much all of your defensive production. Bengal fans, every time I talk about it, they go, we were injured last year. We had so many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Your defense still sucked. It still freaking sucked. And it's going to suck even worse when you get rid of Trey Hendrickson. You guys are going to be in 75 to 50 shootouts every single freaking week. Good luck to you guys. And if you have the 1-1 pick in fantasy football and you're not you take Jamar Chase at 1-1, and if you're not taking T. Higgins at the turn, you're a fool. You're a fool. Or Chase Brown, I don't care. Load up your team with Cincinnati Bengals because they are going to be in offensive shootouts every single freaking week. And the Bengals are stupid for getting rid of Trey Hendrickson. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Dumb. Bad Bengals. Stupid Bengals. All right, so let's stick around with football, and we're going to talk about the Big Ten. The Big Ten Commissioner, Tony Petitti, has been floating around the idea of a large expansion for the college football playoff. So right now, we have the 12-team playoff, which last year I really liked. It was a good success. We had some fun games. Texas and Arizona State, Penn State and Notre Dame, Texas and Ohio State. There were some blowouts, but Tony Petitti of the Big Ten Commissioner, has said that he wants to expand the college football playoff to 24 up to 28 teams, which would be freaking awesome. Awesome. It would be incredible. There are so many people who are bitching about this. Just shut up. If you're bitching about this, I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, if you're bitching about this, you're an anti-football pussy. That's what you are. Because this would be incredible. A 2018 playoff. You don't want a March Madness for college football. So as of right now, again, we have a 12-team playoff, and people are bitching and crying because, oh, we're going to get so many blowouts. Listen, I don't care if we have so many blowouts. You are going to get different matchups every single year that we probably have never seen before. And it doesn't matter if it's a 14 playoff. It doesn't matter if it's a 16. It doesn't matter if it's a 12. It doesn't matter if it's a 28. It doesn't matter if it's a 56-team playoff, okay? The creme de la creme, the top teams every single year, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, your Georgias, your Penn States, they are going to be the ones who are at the top of the class every single year and come down to the top 6, the top 8 teams. It doesn't matter how you organize it. These teams that are at the top are going to be the ones who are going to win the national championship. It's plain and simple. It doesn't matter how many teams you add into the playoff. The creme de la creme are going to be the ones at the top. So just enjoy the matchups and don't be an anti-football pussy. Who wouldn't love to have 3 games on simultaneously like it's March Madness. So you can have 3 screens set up and you can watch 3 playoff games at the same time. That would be awesome. A few things with this though that kind of, listen, I'm not an anti-football pussy, I'll tell you that. But if you don't like this idea, you're an anti-football pussy. They would have to get rid of conference championship games, which I have mixed bags about because one, I like the conference championship game. You know, one of the goals every year for these teams, the big teams, is to win your conference championship. However, I get the fact that you would have to scrap that. And the conference championship could be a bad thing for some teams because, again, there are teams that lose their conference championship and then say they have 2 losses and they get knocked out of the playoffs because they had to play an extra game. I get that that's a whole debacle in and of itself. I still like the conference championship games. However, if we get to a 2018 playoff, fuck the conference championships because it would be awesome. Teams like Rutgers would believe that they have a shot. They could dream they have a chance to make it to a 2018 playoff. They wouldn't. But yeah, I would absolutely love it. And again, my big takeaway to this is if you don't want a 24 to 2018 playoff because, there's going to be too many blowouts, it's not going to be fun, you are an anti-football pussy. Because it would be amazing. It would be beautiful. You're probably the same type person who's watching Alabama versus the Citadel and loving every second of it. Why can't I watch New Mexico State take on Texas? Why not? For a playoff game, I'd love it. It'd be sick. More football, more fun. And imagine how amazing it would be if New Mexico ended up beating Texas. Imagine the ridicule you'll get if you are a top 10 team and you lose to one of those teams that barely sneaks in at number 28. It would be perfect. So again, do not be an anti-football pussy. Support a 2018 playoff. That's my message. I approve this message. I am Benny Yinzer, and I approve this message to support a 2018 playoff. Yeah. Moving on, I don't have a lot to talk about this. It's just something that was really making waves on social media. NBA 2K. So instead of fixing all their bugs and the game being kind of bad, it's better than the state that Madden's in. I will say that. But NBA 2K now, instead of fixing their bugs, is now allowing you to have men and women on the court at the same time. So there's going to be full rosters, including NBA and WNBA teams. And this has a mixed bag from fans because some people are confused on how this is going to work. So say, for example, if Caitlin Clark is a 97 overall for the WNBA, would she stay a 97 overall if, say you're playing the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Boston Celtics, but take away Jason Tatum and you put in Caitlin Clark? Would Caitlin Clark still be a 97 overall versus a team of all men? Or would her overall drop because of obvious, reasons that, it's harder. It's going to be a lot harder for her to score at the NBA level. Let's just be honest about that. Don't come fucking woke mobbing me about this. That is something that people were talking about. Now, I know that they're probably going to keep her a 97 overall, but that does make sense. So Eric Bosnich, whoever, I don't know his name. I don't name these people. He said, we're not just allowing people to create their ultimate dream teams. We're also highlighting some of the most legendary figures in the sport. So are we going to be getting legends? Because listen, right now, if Caitlin Clark is on the same court as Michael Jordan, her overall should go to a 12 because Michael Jordan would show no mercy against Caitlin Clark. Every shot she put up would be sent to Timbuk fucking 2. He would send that shit to China if he could. He would rock her shit on the basketball court, throwing bows, and just she wouldn't even be allowed to get to the 3-point line. It would be full court press like crazy. But again, I still think that they would keep her overall at a 97 overall. And again, people were talking about how NBA 2K is still full of bugs. So you're going to have Caitlin Clark or Sabrina Ionescu hitting a 3-pointer and then trying to high-five a invisible Clint Capella. Yeah. And then I also think that LeBron James is going to sue for the simple fact that people are going to make memes of him getting rejected at the rim by Angel Reese, and I think that it is just going to flood his feed because people are going to be tagging him in it. He is going to sue NBA 2K for this ridicule because, again, he's already been suing about AI-generated content, so yeah, he's going to get mad about this. So that's just, not a lot to talk about with that. It's just something that was making waves on social media, and I wanted to just touch on it because, again, will the women's teams be the same overall if they're facing an entire team of men? It's a good question. It's a valid question. Don't get all pissy at me about it, but I think they're going to keep them the same overall. Before we talk about our final 3 topics of the day, I want to give a big shout out to Underdog Fantasy, where if you sign up using my code HMM and you play $5, you are going to get $50 instantly. And coming up on football season, $50 does not sound too bad. Plus, on top of that, you are going to get a free 0.5 gimme pick, which, take for example, it is like Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw for higher than 0.5 yards. It is a gimme pick for a reason, and you add that to just one other pick, and you were taking that $50, and you were turning it into real freaking cash, baby. It is that simple. I love Underdog. I use it every single week for the NFL. So much fun. It is my favorite way to bet on all my favorite player props. And again, if you sign up using the code HMM and play $5, you are going to get $50 instantly, plus a free 0.5 pick. Thank you so much to Underdog Fantasy. Let's talk about how Michigan got a slap on the wrist for the biggest cheating scandal that the NCAA has ever seen, and they still get to keep their national championship. Yes, Michigan got their punishment for their whole Connor Stalions cheating scandal, and it was an absolute slap on the wrist. It was a nothing penalty, and it is going to allow coaches of teams who have a lot of money to essentially cheat. So Michigan got a major fine. We'll say major fine in quotes because $20 million is kind of nothing to a school like Michigan. Absolutely nothing. They also did get a 4-year probation. They got recruiting restrictions where they got a 25% decrease in their official visits, and they got a 14-week no-call restriction for recruits as well. They also got an extra game suspension for head coach Sharon Moore, which that whole self-imposed suspension was absolute bullshit because they self-imposed it during 2 games that I literally could coach Michigan and they would win. Former head coach of the Michigan Wolverines at the time, Jim Harbaugh, got a 10-year NCAA show cause penalty, meaning no team in college football can hire him without NCAA review. I think that doesn't matter because they wouldn't honor that in the first place. Connor Stalions, the guy who orchestrated this whole cheating scandal, he got hit with an 8-year show cause penalty, which I don't think he was going to coach anywhere else other than Michigan, so this doesn't matter to him. And again, the context with this, if you don't even know what's going on, first of all, you're living under a rock, but Connor Stalions was orchestrating a whole scouting department where he had people in Michigan staff going to the sidelines of other teams with like the Ray-Ban glasses and filming their signals, and then he was decoding all of those signals, and essentially he was able to know what plays were being run before they were even called, and this helped Michigan 1,000%. 1,000% win the national championship. And these penalties that they got was a slap on the freaking wrist. They blatantly cheated. Connor Stallions did this whole sit down where he pretty much admitted to cheating, and yet the NCAA gave them a slap on the wrist. If I was a coach at a major program and I had NFL aspirations and I knew I was leaving to go to the NFL, why wouldn't you cheat? Why wouldn't you cheat and do an elaborate thing just like this? Because the only thing your school gets right now is major fines. And if you're at one of these big major schools, $20 million is absolutely nothing. You're telling me the boosters at a major school, you're telling me right now that if James Franklin went to the boosters at Penn State and said, listen, guys, we are desperate. We need a national championship. We are going all in this year. We're going to cheat to win this national championship, seeing what Michigan just did. We need you to give us $20 million so we can pay the fine. Those boosters are going to open up their checkbook and they're going to hand James Franklin a blank fucking check. It's asinine that Michigan is able to keep their national championship after blatantly cheating, and we're going to see more of it. We're going to absolutely see more of it because all you get is a slap on the wrist. Quite literally, that's it. It's bullshit. And $20 million is obviously not enough. These recruiting violations are not enough. The show cause penalties are not enough. I'm not saying Michigan should have got the death penalty for this. I'm saying you probably should have vacated the national championship. They blatantly cheated. They got a slap on the wrist. And that is freaking insane to me. Sure, they had a good team. I'm not sitting here saying that Michigan had a bad team that year. They obviously had a good team. But when you have a good team and you already know what plays are being run, it's impossible to lose. They cheated blatantly and they got a slap on the wrist for it. And if I was a major coach at another major program, I'm going to my boosters and saying, listen, we may get a larger penalty because of this. Open up your checkbook, give us $50 million, and I guarantee you those boosters will be like, yeah, sure, because you're going to make a ton more in TV revenue, then you're fine. It's asinine. It's insane. It's fucking insane. I can't believe that they got to keep their national championship. Cannot believe it. All right, let's move on and talk about some UFC. And we're going to talk about the Khamzat Chimaev fight versus the DDP. Yeah, it was 21 minutes of just pure ground control. So Khamzat Chimaev dominated Duplessis to claim the UFC middleweight championship by unanimous decision. Every single judge had it scored 50-44 for Khamzat. He landed a UFC record 529 strikes, and he also had over 21 minutes of ground control. 21 freaking minutes. That is the second most in UFC history. And people were pissed about it. Everybody's saying that if you are under the tree of Khabib Nurmagomedov, you should be banned from the UFC because everybody thinks it's boring. But listen, it gets results. Khamzat now is 15-0 as a pro, and he lived up to his year-long forecast of becoming a UFC champion, and he did it in dominating fashion. I understand that a lot of people don't want to sit there and watch ground control, but DDP was just a grappling dummy for 21 minutes, and there's kind of nothing you can do. You just got to try to get on the level of these guys, and it is difficult because all these guys do is live and breathe and eat and fight in this style. And 21 minutes of ground control. Listen, it's boring to watch. I get it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to watch two sweaty men rolling around on the ground for 15 or for 21 minutes, not even 15 minutes. But it gets freaking results. And Khamzat put on a clinic on how to win a middleweight championship. And he's going to hold it for a very long time, if you ask me. Honestly, he's going to hold that for a very, very long time. He could put up another reign like Khabib. And I think it's going to be a while until we see a guy who he's going to get tested. But when is he going to get truly tested? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to get put in situations where he has to fight through adversity. But I'm talking for a full 25 minutes. I don't think we're going to see that for a while. I think that Khamzat is going to be able to dictate when he drops that championship. Plain and freaking simple. Because, again, the mindset with these guys, even after they win a championship, it's like they still have the same mindset as if it's their first ever fight. And it's going to be a long time, I think, before we see another middleweight champion. And again, the memes were just crazy. A lot of people were saying that Khamzat landed less strikes than there were TikTok posts in a single day from some certain TikTokers. And just, yeah, it was boring for some people. I will say that, but damn it gets results. It gets results. We'll say that. Hey, before we talk about our final thing, which somebody who gets results is Scottie Scheffler, I want to let you guys know that I have actually opened up a blog and a newsletter. So if you want to be involved in some of my weekly picks, if you want to get some deals every single week, if you want to keep up with what's going on over here at Hail Mary Media, keeping up with our YouTube content, our TikTok content, all of our short form content. We also have blogs now. We have a contributor who is one of my good friends who's going to be talking some sports in our blogs as well. I write blog posts. If you want to be involved with that and keep up with everything that's going on with Hail Mary Media, please be sure to check out our WordPress blog. If you are watching this on YouTube, I will have that linked in the description. And check out our Beehive newsletter as well. We're only going to send that once a week. We're not going to be spamming you with it. But every single Friday, we're going to be I'm going to send you my best picks of the week for college football and the NFL. And you are going to get that completely free. You're going to get a rundown of everything that we've done throughout the week on a content basis, from our podcast that you're listening to right now, so you already know about that, but to our YouTube content, to our short form content. And I'm also going to send you deals every single week that are going to help benefit you in your gambling journey. So if you would like to do that, check out our Beehive, check out our WordPress. I'm going to have those linked down below. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. And again, we won't be spammy about it. I'm going to send it to you once a week, every Friday. That's it. You're going to get my top picks in the NFL and in college football absolutely free. It's completely free. I'm telling you right now. I'm not going to charge you to sign up for this newsletter. Again, completely free. Let's move on and let's talk about Scottie Scheffler and how he is the most dominant man on the planet. The dude's insane. So yeah, number one golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler. If you did not see his chip in for birdie, wow. The guy is freaking incredible. The first ever podcast we were talking about how insane he was. And he came back from 3 shots over Robert McIntyre, and he won the BMW championship. And the dominance of Scottie Scheffler continues. CBS Sports said that there is no moment too big for this man. So Scottie Scheffler also earned $3.6 million from the win, and he locked up $5 million in FedEx Cup bonuses. And I believe I saw Kent Sports on TikTok talking about this. He is going to make more money this year than most NFL players. A lot of NFL players, like the top end guys. That is how dominant Scottie Scheffler has been this year. It is his 14th top 10 finish in 17 events this season. Like, his odds, if you're betting on him to finish top 10 on sportsbooks, has to be like minus 500. He is a lock to finish top 10. and his chip in yesterday on 17 at Caves Valley just broke the freaking internet. If you have not seen it, please go watch it. He's insane. He's going to end up being the greatest golfer of all time, in my opinion, if he's not already there. He's on the Mount Rushmore, if you ask me. I think he's going to end up passing Tiger as the best golfer of all freaking time. It's that simple. Scottie Scheffler, the dude's nuts. That's all I really have to say. I mean, listen, just if you don't like golf, which I get a lot of people don't because they say it's slow and boring, just watch a feed of Scottie Scheffler and just be amazed at what this guy can do. Even if you don't like golf, you can appreciate what this guy does because he's insane. And he's good. You are missing out on greatness, I will say, if you are not watching Scottie Scheffler. Because right now, I think it's a toss-up between who's going to be the greatest of all time at the end of the day. Tiger or Scottie Scheffler. And I mean that genuinely. He's that freaking good. Scottie Scheffler is. Well, guys, thank you so much. This was a lot. I will say that, but I had a lot to talk about because I missed Friday's episode because my ear hurts. My ear still hurts. Everything hurts right now. My entire face feels like it's on fire. My nose hurts. My ear hurts. But that will not stop me from missing this podcast because I missed Friday's podcast and I owed you guys. So, yes, no questions again this week because, again, my Discord is boring. So make sure to join the Discord server. Check out our free newsletter as well. Get a rundown every single week. Get my top picks in the NFL and in college football every single week. Plus, I'm going to send you some deals. Make sure you're following us on all of our short form content as well. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. We're everywhere. Blue Sky. I just got a Blue Sky account. I don't really use it, but I got one. Check it out. I post my blogs over there. And I might start posting like actual, like, I don't even know. Do they call them? What do they call them? They're not tweets. Are they skies? I don't fucking know what they're called. But yes, check us out on all of that. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of the Hail Mary. I will see you guys again on Friday. Friday, we are not going to be talking about specific, like things that happen in sports. That is going to be our rundown and our preview of college football and who I actually think is winning it all this year. We're going to go through each conference. We're going to talk about winners, losers. We're going to go through an entire breakdown of college football for the next podcast. So stick around for that. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you're listening on Spotify. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. And yeah, join the Discord as well because I need people to ask questions because my Discord server is boring as piss right now. And only join the Discord if you like sports. But hey, have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you all on Friday for our breakdown of college football. See you guys.